There's a version of success in beauty that we see everywhere. High-speed growth, splashy funding rounds, big influencer campaigns. But what if you don't want to follow that script? What if sustainable finance and creative freedom and long-term control matter more than short-term scale? So in today's episode, we're exploring what it means to grow a beauty brand on your own terms. My guest is Chinelo Chidozie, co-founder of Bolden, a skincare brand that's now stocked in over 1,000 Walmart stores across the US. Chinelo and her sister-in-law Ndidi left high-powered finance careers to build a company that filled a gap that they saw in the market. And they did so without outside investment. Their philosophy? You take the money, they call the shots. And they weren't willing to trade their time, their values, or their vision for someone else's growth plan. So this conversation is a reminder that success in beauty doesn't have to look like unicorn valuations or massive ad spend. Chinelo is going to share what it's taken to build slowly, why customer retention beats hype, and how staying self-funded has allowed Bolden to stay focused on what matters. Products that work, a community that cares, and a business that fits their life, not the other way around. Welcome to Green Beauty Conversations, in which I challenge the beauty industry to become sustainable, champion independent and green beauty, and encourage you to join me in making beauty better. I'm your host, Lorraine Dallmeier. I'm a chartered environmentalist, biologist, and the CEO of award-winning online organic cosmetic formulation school, Botanica. We have tens of thousands of students in over 190 countries around the world who study with us to become organic beauty formulators and entrepreneurs. Visit our website at formulabotanica.com to try our free online formulation course. And if you want to be the first person to know what's happening in green beauty, make sure you subscribe to this podcast in your favorite podcast app. So in today's episode, I'm joined by Chinelo Chidozie, the co-founder of Bolden, a skincare brand creating effective, clinically tested treatments for dark spots and uneven skin tone in melanin-rich skin. After years as a bonds rating analyst in New York City, she left finance to follow her passion for beauty, launching Bolden with her sister-in-law Ndidi. Based in Texas with her husband and 2 sons, she's grown the brand from an online startup to a presence in over 1,000 Walmart stores, as well as on Amazon. Bolden's gentle, high-performance formulas feature proven ingredients such as glycolic acid, kojic acid, and vitamin C, empowering people to feel confident in their skin. Hi, Chinelo. How are you doing today?
Hi, Lorraine. I'm doing wonderful. And how about you?
I'm good. I am really looking forward to this interview because I want to hear all about what you've been working on and how you created your amazing brand. So for our listeners, can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Chinelo Chidozie. I am co-founder of Bolden, which is a skincare brand out of the States, and we make products that work really well on hyperpigmentation. Founded the company with my sister-in-law Ndidi. We launched our first product in 2016, so almost going on 10 years now.
Amazing.
And it's been an amazing journey, both building the brand and also working with my sister-in-law friend.
That's so cool. I love that. And congratulations on your longevity. I mean, almost a decade. Needs to be a big party next year, obviously.
We're planning for it.
Good. I look forward to watching that on social media. So tell us more about the products that you make and sell.
I think product that we're most known for really is sunscreen with vitamin C. It's an SPF 30 product that also has about 5% vitamin C in it. That's really what sort of launched the brand for us. My co-founder Ndidi and I were on holiday with our husbands in Florida. We're walking the island of Key West and realized we're spending a lot of time outdoors in the sun and wanted to pick up a couple of tubes of sunscreen. So we walked into the pharmacy, picked up the most appealing ones, and got back to our hotel, put them on, and it left a ghastly white cast on us. Took so much rubbing in, just wasn't flattering. I was working in finance at that time, and I thought, this probably is an area, even though I'm not a chemist, that could use our expertise as business people. I have an MBA. My sister-in-law has an MBA. We're really into solving problems. So we saw that was a wide space in the marketplace, and we plunged in.
Amazing. And thus Bolden was born. I love that. So you have your sunscreen. That seems to be the sort of the founding product. What other products do you have at the moment in the range?
So the way we think about it is really tackling hyperpigmentation. Sunscreen sort of is the cherry on top. So as women of color, what tends to happen is when you inevitably get that acne and it leaves a dark spot. So hyperpigmentation. And it's a natural cause of the healing process, so because we have a little more melanin when your skin's healing, and that's part of the healing process. But we all want even skin. Our line really focusing on easy processes, 3-step, 4-step process that gets you're controlling acne, controlling the breakout. And when it heals, it doesn't leave a dark mark. So it's, we have an amazing cleanser that's gentle, a toner, which I really think is an important step in the process. So it's 1% glycolic acid and niacinamide. So it's gentle exfoliation on a daily basis. So it helps you get rid of your dead skin, unclogs your pores. So you're getting less frequent breakouts. And then we have vitamin C sunscreen. So it's an antioxidant rich, which boosts the effectiveness of the sunscreen. So we think with these 3 products, you're more than 98% of the way done. So it's an easy get out the door. You're taking good care of your skin. And over time, you just have better, more even, beautiful skin.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on creating what sounds like an absolutely beautiful range. Let's go back to that moment. You went into that pharmacy, you bought that sunscreen, you put it on, it left, as you said, the ghastly white cast, not what you wanted at all. At that point, you and your sister-in-law, you were like, we can do better than this. So talk me through what happened next.
Definitely. So just the frustration of having that experience. And I'm not one to point a finger because I just realized, whoever is doing this formulation probably doesn't have my experience. As a user of a product, I thought I could bring that perspective. So the first thing we did was to figure out, okay, so why is this product doing what it's doing? So we had to get into the chemistry of sunscreens. Fortunately for me, my favorite subject in high school was chemistry. My parents even wanted me to be a doctor, but I was looking at the tallest buildings and the shiniest things, so I went into finance. So we thought, okay, understanding the chemistry of sunscreens, we thought we could find a blend that really would apply as beautifully as your favorite moisturizer. Because the first thing is you want people to apply, and the way to get people to apply something is to make it easy. So if it's comfortable, if it blends in, if it looks good, they're more likely to wear it. So that was our North Star, that we had to get something that was very appealing, easy to put on, but also very effective. We're working with the hunt for a lab when you don't have any industry background was very, we definitely underestimated how challenging that would be. But, we were very tenacious, persistent, and we worked with a really beautiful lab in California. And it took us about 2 years to formulate because it's an FDA regulated product. It has to meet all of the standards and testing. It's just rigorous. But we finally launched the product that we're very happy with, and it's quite literally our best-selling product.
Amazing. Well, so for our listeners, because some people don't understand how much testing sunscreen has to go through, can you give us a little bit of an insight of all the hoops you have to jump through to bring a sunscreen to market?
Okay. Because it's FDA regulated, it means it's a drug because you have to test and prove that it's doing what it's supposed to do. So we have an SPF 30 designation, which means that, and it's really about the UVB rays, so the sunburn, that's been tested in the US. It means that if you put it on this ideal situation, this quantity, it will give you that level of protection. You have to do third-party lab testing, and it has to be repeatable. The FDA sends actually inspectors to go to these facilities, and you could pull out batches and they could test it. And if it doesn't meet those standards, you would be in trouble. Anything that's regulated is quite rigorous. So we're happy to say that our product meets that standard.
Amazing. Yes. I mean, it's important to have to jump through those hoops as well, because it's a really important product that can, and if you get it wrong, obviously that can seriously damage people's, exactly.
Customers are relying on that rating.
Yeah, it keeps you safe. Amazing. So talk about where Bolden is now then. Let's talk a little bit about that, because you launched, you spent 2 years designing this SPF 30 product. It's now your bestseller. Let's talk about where the brand is today.
Today, we initially started just selling on our website, and then we wanted to obviously reach more customers, and we started going to trade shows. One of these trade shows, we met the buyers of Target, and subsequently a buyer from Walmart emailed us.
Wow.
So we started talking about the product. We sent them samples. The price point wasn't really a Walmart price point. So what we did was to come up with SKUs that were very Walmart friendly. So I think one of our primary goals as a brand was accessibility. We have this beautiful formulated product, but if it's not where people are shopping for it, then, you're not doing as much good as you can. So when the opportunity to be at Walmart came through, we said we had to make it work price-wise, size-wise. And today we're in over 1,000 Walmart stores.
Wow.
Still pitching new products. So hopefully we'll see, a few more stores join, but you can find our products on our website, on Amazon. Amazon's doing really well for us, actually. And Walmart, hoping to sign on additional partners.
Amazing.
The coming
that
months.
Must have been so exciting. You're sat there, you've designed this product, you've poured your heart and soul into it. You've come from a completely different industry. As you said, you were in finance before. And then all of a sudden you get this email from Walmart going, hey, we're quite interested in your product. I mean, were you literally dancing around the office at that point?
We weren't sure. We didn't even respond to the first one.
You didn't respond. Well, you thought it was a scam.
So I was talking to Ndidi, and I mentioned it again, do you think we should respond? So she actually sent a follow-up email. I'm like, this is real. So we quickly got on a call, and the buyer was the most pleasant person and just walked us through the whole process. And yeah, I think also it was important that we had gone with our third-party manufacturer who fills the lab, that they had the capacity to scale, because we were to service 1,000 Walmart stores, just the logistics and back end of that. We had to get an EDI system that plugs in. You have to manage your accounts payable, accounts receivable, logistics. Walmart is a behemoth, dealing with all of their distribution channels. But I think we're always up for a challenge. We feel everything we can figure it out, or we can get help to figure it out.
I love that.
So
I love that.
Walmart has really been a good partner for us, surprisingly. I think they've nurtured that relationship, and we're really quite happy with our experience partnering with them.
How did they find you?
I think on our socials.
Okay.
Yes. So I think they were looking for a few more products for their acne SKUs and hyperpigmentation lines, and some of our products just fit that bill.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. One of the questions we get asked all the time from prospective beauty entrepreneurs is, do I really need to be on social media? And I just think you answered that question beautifully.
You do.
Yes, you absolutely do. So tell me what that feels like when you're visiting your contract manufacturer and you're watching all the pallets get prepared for 1,000 Walmart stores.
It's that first order was, oh my God, how are we dealing with this? And the other thing it allowed us to do is it gave us the scale. So for a lot of our components, so that's the packaging that we use, we were getting from Korea and China. And the reason we did that was for the minimum order quantities that we initially started out with. So if you wanted to do 5,000 pieces, 10,000 pieces, which is what you're doing when you've started out, a lot of the U.S. manufacturers will not take you on. It's just not worth their time to put the line in to manufacture for you. But once we got up to scale, where we're putting in 50,000 pieces, 100,000 pieces, then that became viable. And that was very important around COVID times.
Yeah.
So it was very helpful that our tube manufacturer is in California and our bottle manufacturer is in Ohio. So that was very helpful.
Yeah, certainly makes life easier now as well with the tariff circus that you guys are dealing with.
Exactly.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole, perhaps. How many units are you producing a year then? Must be quite a lot by the sounds of things.
Well, right now we're producing those batches, one, because it's economical, but then we store and then I think an average run might be 25,000. Okay.
Amazing. So let's talk about how you've financed Bolden. Have you gone out to seek investment?
No.
Wow.
I think we were quite lucky. Again, we're sort of like almost a 10-year-old brand. We grew slowly and we grew into the brand. But also being from finance, I understood what that meant. Once you take money, you are not just answerable to yourself, you're answerable to your investors. And I'm always going to be a good steward for your funds. But it also might put on additional pressures that we're not willing to take on at the time, not growing the way we want to. And Didi and I were raising 2 boys. That was definitely front and center and important in our life. And we wanted to still have fun with the brand. So not having to be on, because when you take money, there's going to be an exit. So did we really think we wanted to exit in 3 years and put the amount of work and what it will take, to do that? We thought we liked the pace at which we were growing. We were having fun. We were serving our customers and we could do it. We were profitable.
Yeah. No, I get that.
So we didn't feel the pressure.
Although, you're saying you grew sort of organically, but then on the other hand, you had an email from Walmart going, hey, we'd like to put you in 1,000 stores. I mean, that must have been a massive leap overnight. How did you handle that?
Lines of credit. So if you have a relationship with your bank. The other thing we did that was really good was we negotiated our payment terms. As a first-time Walmart vendor, I think they gave us 45 days payment terms versus the 90 that is typical. So it sort of cut down how quickly you get paid after you invoice. So that lended itself to us drawing on a line of credit to pay for the suppliers. Our manufacturers also gave us credit. So it gave us, 90 days from when you place an order to pay for that. And, you supply to Walmart, you have maybe 45 days to get paid. So we were able to manage it from a cash flow perspective and not have to take on debt. I feel, though, that the only area that may have suffered may have been marketing, because marketing in this space is so expensive. And we've had to be very judicious with the dollars that we have. The thing is, the more money you have, because you're never going to be short of great ideas, the more you will spend to get, raise awareness around the brand, pay for activations, pay for influencer partnerships. So it's made us be a little more creative with our marketing, just because we didn't have the funds to, by the time you pay your manufacturers and pay your payroll, there wasn't that much left to sort of throw around.
You could argue that, the best marketing you did was putting yourself out on social media and attracting the attention of major retailers, which presumably you did without putting a huge amount of investment behind it, right?
I think people underestimate the power of social media, which could quite literally be free.
Yeah.
So if you are creative and not so self-conscious, I think it's hard. We don't want to be judged. So if you put yourself out there, you're opening yourself out to judgment. But if you have a thick skin and believe in what you're doing, literally, I don't think there's a better time in terms of the way that you could market a brand for quite literally not a whole lot of money.
No, I totally get that. Absolutely. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs underestimate that, particularly in the beauty space, because as you say, if you have the money, you can spend it on marketing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that will generate a huge return either. I mean, you talked about some of the pitfalls of attracting an investment, working with venture capitalist firms, things like thinking that there needs to be an exit. Are there any other hidden costs to taking VC money that you think people don't realize?
Yeah, definitely you could lose control of your business. And I think, if fear of that had happened, because when you take on money, you also take on additional responsibility to scale. And if the market doesn't take on your product as quickly as you anticipate, the cash burn could be incredible. I think part of the reason we've been able to stay profitable as long as we have been. It's just that we've only added incrementally, so we didn't do like we're getting a new space. We're getting 5 new people who are that could easily get burned through all of the cash that you have. And when you take on money, there's usually like, okay, this is the push. If it doesn't work, you have to go back for additional funding, or you are admitting that you have failed. And when you take on additional funding, it's very dilutive. Depending on how many rounds you've gone, you could end up losing the very thing that you worked so hard to build.
Yes, that's very true.
Although to the contrary, though, they'll tell you if you get a bigger pie, a smaller percentage of a big pie could still be bigger than. So it's something you have to weigh. Personally, does it sit well with you? Is it part of your long-term goal? Didi and I have had these conversations, and, for right now, we kind of like the way we're going.
I love that.
We have.
What does success mean to you guys then?
Oh, success. I think for us, deliberately, we define success in our own terms, because it's very easy to look at maybe other brands that you started with and how quickly they're growing and where they are. Start comparing. And I know comparison is the thief of joy. So we have criteria that we've set for ourselves, how much growth we're having year over year, how satisfied we are with the business, how much joy we have with the team that we've built, how much flexibility it gives us in our personal lives. I think all of those areas are things that we've hit out the ballpark in terms of satisfaction with the quality of life this business has given us. We come to work enjoying what we do. We love the team that we've built. It's sort of like a love fest, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else. So this is what we define as success. And by our metrics, we're enormously successful.
I love that. Well, congratulations. And what a beautiful definition of success. I know many of our listeners will resonate very strongly with that. Do you miss your corporate career in finance?
Sometimes. If I'm being totally honest, I didn't realize how much access I had with my previous job. So I used to be a ratings analyst, a bonds analyst. So I rated bonds. So I had access to a whole lot of CEOs and CFOs. On my Rolodex, they would call me. If you do that long enough, you actually think you know them. They're your friends. You forget they are only really acknowledging your role. So your importance in their bid to raise capital. So I do miss having that access and feeling important. And it was a fun job. Although I gladly have given up all those Excel spreadsheets. And now I look at product packaging. My office is littered with samples and looking at textures and colors. So yeah, I think it's a good trade-off.
I think so too. I think you can feel very important in what you're doing because you're making a difference in people's lives. I'm sure you must get some fantastic reviews as well from your customers.
Oh, we do. I think I may have undersold. Like the best part of what we do is when we're on the road, actually. We get literal hugs. When we're at trade shows or at events, our customers come, oh, I've been a customer for 5 years. And they're giving us this big, very familiar hugs like, oh, thank you so much for the products that you make. I've been a day one customer and it has made such a difference in my life and my kids use it. So that is the most rewarding. Just knowing that this came from nothing was literally an idea to, get that kind of emotional response from people. That's definitely more rewarding than an Excel spreadsheet.
Totally is. You are hitting all the success metrics, actually. So a final question. What advice would you give to other people, other beauty founders who are trying to start up, who want to create something meaningful like you have, who want to hit those same success metrics that you have?
I want to say, and I say this quite a bit, start. I think we all fall victim to analysis paralysis. Oh, I've written the business plan. I'm looking for, just start. Then, iterate and pivot. Start where you are, start with what you have. And, the market will give you feedback if you're on the right direction. If you're not, pivot and go back to the drawing board. But it's so important. The doing is the most important part. it's more important than the thinking and the planning. You could plan something for years and never have anything to show for it. But once you start doing, in and of itself, that is very compelling and motivation to do better, try different things. So just start, I would say.
Amazing advice. Couldn't agree more. You will fail at 100% of the things you don't start after all. So yes, you are completely right. And lots of people do get stuck in that analysis paralysis, as you say. Chinelo, it's been such a pleasure talking to you today and learning all about your amazing story. Where can people come and find out more about you and buy your lovely products?
Oh, thank you so much for having me. So we're available at boldenusa.com. That's our website, amazon.com, and of course, in Walmart near you.
I love that. We will include those links in the show notes, so do go and check out Bolden Skincare. Lovely to chat to you today, Chinelo. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thanks again.
I would love to hear your thoughts on this episode. Do you feel just as inspired as I do about Chinelo's definition of success and how she and Ndidi grew Bolden into this fantastic brand? Leave us a comment on our social channels, as both the Formula Botanica team and I love hearing from you. And if you want to hear some more episodes about the topics we discussed today, please do delve back into the podcast archives. So some great examples include episode 251, which was titled From Kitchen Formulator to Global Icon, the story of Elizabeth Arden, in which I interviewed Professor Stacey Cordery, who wrote a fantastic biography on another amazing beauty entrepreneur, Elizabeth Arden, who created her brand on her own terms, just like Chinelo and Ndidi did. Or episode 128, go check that one out too. It's called Indie Beauty Can Change Your Life. And in that episode, I tell the story of many of our graduates here at Formula Botanica. And in this episode, Chinelo's words about just starting are strongly echoed. Because if you don't start, you'll never succeed. So there's a wealth of information in our old episodes, and I do encourage you to go back and listen to them. Thank you for joining Chinelo and I for this latest episode of Green Beauty Conversations. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do leave us a 5-star review so that other people can enjoy these conversations too. And make sure you subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever your favorite podcast app is, and stay tuned for the next episode. Follow Formula Botanica at Formula Botanica on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn. We are everywhere. And come and give me a follow at Lorraine Dallmeier on Instagram and LinkedIn. Visit our website at formulabotanica.com and sign up for our free online formulation course today.